first, we'll download and install the BI Platform Support Tool client. Do a search for the BI Platform Support Tool. On the home page, you'll find a download link for the Software Download Center. You'll need your S-User account in order to download from the Software Download Center. Once the file is downloaded, extract the contents to a temporary directory. We'll double-click on the BI Support Tool Setup to start the installer. In this example, we'll install to C program files SAP BIPST. The client will automatically start, but first we need to set up the prerequisites for our BI platform landscape. So go ahead and close the client. The first prerequisite is to install the SAP Host Agent. Go to the Software Download Center. And then here you can do a search for SAP Host Agent. Go to the category SAP Host Agent 7.21. Make sure you choose the correct platform of your BI server or your web application server. And then download the latest version of the SAP Host Agent 7.21. Save the file to a temporary directory. While that's downloading, we'll also download the SAP CAR. Find SAP CAR 7.21. Choose the correct platform, in this case Windows x64. And save that to a temporary directory. Next, we'll extract the SAP Host Agent software. Run sapcar-xvf SAP Host Agent.sar. To install the host agent, we just need to run SAP Host Exec-install. Enter a strong password for your SAP ADM account. And that's it. The SAP Host Agent is installed. We can confirm that the host agent is installed by checking the services on the server. Look for the SAP Host Control and SAP Host Exec services. These are the services for the SAP Host Agent. The last step with the host agent is to go back to the client, go to where you installed the BI Platform Support Tool, go to the bin folder, Operations, and then choose the operating system of your BI server or web application server, then copy the operations.d folder. Then we'll go back to the BI server or web application server, and browse to the location of the SAP Host Agent, which is Program Files SAP Host Control EXE. And then we'll paste the operations.d folder into this location. Next, we need to configure Apache Tomcat for JMX. There's 4 different options here: no authentication, network address translation, JMX authentication, which is recommended for production, or firewall support, which can also have authentication. In this case, we're going to do firewall support with authentication. If you go to the Getting Started guide, there's a tutorial on configuring Tomcat for JMX. Go to the With Firewall Support option. Here you can download a required library, Remote JMX library. Let's download that to your server. And then we're going to paste it into the tomcat/lib directory. Go to their conf directory for Tomcat and edit the server.xml. We need to add a listener for the RMI. There's an example in the Getting Started guide. Just copy that, add the listener, and then we need to update Tomcat hostname. You'll find this under RMI bind address. Change that to your Tomcat hostname. Save the changes. Let's configure authentication. Go to the Tomcat conf directory, and we're going to create a text file called jmxremote.access. We're going to create another text file called jmxremote.password. Make sure that it doesn't have a .txt extension. Edit the file jmx.access and add jmx user and then read only. This could be any username that you want. Read only is the permissions we're giving to that user. Edit the file jmxremote.password and then specify the user and then the password you want to use. In this case, password 123. Now we need to lock down the jmxremote.password file. Browse to the location of the jmxremote.password file in the Tomcat conf directory. We'll run the ICA CLS command. First, we need to make sure what account you're using for Tomcat. We recommend that you use a user account, not the local system. In this case, Tomcat's running as BOE-SVC. So here we're setting the owner of the file to BOE-SVC. And then we're changing the permissions so that only that user can read and modify the file. Next, go to Tomcat Configuration, Java tab, and then we'll add the Java options. First, we'll add the two Java options that specify the location to jmxremote.password and jmxremote.access. Next, we'll specify that we want authentication and that we're not using SSL. And then lastly, we want to specify that we are enabling JMX Remote. Apply the changes. Now we just need to restart Tomcat. And we can check that the ports that we configured, 10,001 and 10,002, are listening. The last step is to configure the landscape inside the BI Platform Support tool. Go back to your client and launch the BI Platform Support tool. Click on Landscape Configuration. Here we can configure multiple landscapes. So click Add without Cobra SSL, confirm that we are persisting data locally on the client, and then log into your CMS system for this landscape. It will automatically determine which BI hosts are in the landscape. First, we'll configure the host agent settings. Enter the password that you previously specified for the SAP ADM account or for the host agent, and then click Validate. Once it's validated, this step is complete. Next, we need to create a web application server node. Enter the hostname of your web application server, along with the HTTP port of your web application server. By default, that's 8080. You'll see it creates a web application server host. Click Host Agent Settings and enter the password for the SAP ADM account. Click Validate. Next, you'll see multiple web application logging directories. You can check out this KBase 1861180 for tips on finding the web application logging directories. In our case, we're running Tomcat under a user account, so it will be c:/users/ the username. Copy the local path, return back to the client, and then paste that in for the BI Launchpad. You'll notice that the folder is named after the web application. So next, let's find the CMC web application logs. Here's the location. Let's copy the path, return back to the client, and then add that to the central management console. You'll want to repeat this if you're using Explorer, DSWS-BobJ, or web services in Open Document. Add the local path for these different applications. Lastly, let's configure JMX. Check Requires Authentication. Enter the username that you specified previously for JMX, in this case JMX user, and the password. Check Enable Firewall Support, and enter the ports 10,001 and 10,002. Hit Validate, and then repeat these steps for each Tomcat server in your landscape. Let's configure predictive support alerts. Go to Predictive Support, add a contact, enter your S-user account, enter an email you'd like us to use to reach out to you with predictive alerts. Enter your S-user password. This will validate that your S-user password is correct. Then click OK, and that's it. Let's test the report. When you run the report, it's using all the configurations that you just set up in the landscape configuration. If the report is complete, you can click Yes to send the report to the Predictive Support Alert service.